G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 15 of the season as we look ahead to what is about to transpire. We've got Macca 03-03 on top of the table. I'm pretty sure Zaki 2323 has been sitting on top of the table, so there's some interesting movement up the top of the table. And as for me, I'm sitting 19th on the table with a big second half of the season to come along. So I've got 5 out of 7. Not too bad, but not too great either. All right, let's have a look-ski at the round ahead. We've got another round of buys. There's too many buy rounds. That's another topic for another day. Thursday night, we started off at Optus Stadium, and we've got Fremantle hosting here. They've got the Bombers, the Thursday night game. So Fremantle, they had pretty close quarters win over North Melbourne. Ended up being by a goal after North charged home late. Bombers have lost 3 on the trot, and they went down to the Cats by 95 points. Obviously, they had a fair few out and a couple of new debutants, so it was all happening for them. I have to go Fremantle with the form that they've been in. Bombers massive injury list, longer than, who knows. Very long injury list, and I suspect the Dockers will better get the 4 points. I'm going to go the Dockers by 29 points. I think the Bombers will still give it a good showing at times. I expect the Dockers to break as the game pans along. Big game Friday night. We've got Geelong and Brisbane Lions at GMHBA Stadium. Geelong, 95-point win over the Bombers, as I just mentioned. And the Lions have lost a couple in a row. They went down to the Crows, and then they went down to the Giants most recently. And that one was at the Gabba. I think the last time Geelong played Brisbane in Geelong was 2021, believe it or not. I'm going to have to fact check that offline, and I'm very interested to see. So yeah, it's always at the Gabba, outside of the MCG final last year. Geelong won 5 in a row, looking really good. I'm going to go Geelong, probably more on the conditions to favour the Cats more than anything. Don't know if it'll be raining or what. I know it'll be cold and miserable. That's what I do know, which definitely doesn't suit the Lions. Uncontested mark game that they like to get going. It's going to be really tough. I mean, the Lions have also got every reason to be confident. They got us late last year. Jackson Payne's a big out, so that's going to sting. I think the Cats just have one too many weapons. Hopefully I'm correct there, but Geelong's a pretty hard assignment, especially with the form they're in at the moment. Over to the MCG, and we've got Carlton up against North Melbourne. The Blues got the Chocolates over the Eagles, 34-point winners in the end, and they face the North Melbourne side, who've been pretty plucky of late. They went down to the Dockers by a singular goal in the end, and that one was at Optus with a home ground game that they sold, and nearly got the 4 points over the Dockers, but it wasn't to be. Look, it's very tempting to lean towards North Melbourne, but I just recall Carlton absolutely squashing them last time. No Mackay and possibly no Curnow with the calf injury is going to be really interesting, so I might change depending on how the week pans out, but they're normally very comprehensive against the Roos. I love how they've played North Melbourne and West Coast twice, and it's round 15, so and they've won 6 games for the year. So anyway, just a little observation. Carlton to get the 4 points here. Over to Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide, Sydney. Port have won the last couple off the bye, and they got the job done over the D's. I think it was about 4 or 5 goals in the end. Sydney had the bye, they got a win going into that. The record reads pretty well for Port Adelaide. I think the only game that they've lost to Sydney since 2016 was the preliminary final last year. They won the game in Sydney early this year, so they match up really well. And at home, I'm going to go Port Adelaide. Not as convinced on the Swans, but geez, if it's a Sydney-like win, it'll definitely be one for sure. And their season, well, if it's not on the line, it's hanging on by the tiniest of threads. I think Port would be too strong. I'll be really, really disappointed if I'm back in Port after beating the Giants and defeating the D's that they drop this one. they've shown some form, so I'm going to reward them in good faith. Hopefully they can do the same for me. Over to the Pies and the Saints. The Pies had the bye, and the Saints went down to the Doggies in pretty disappointing fashion. 72 points, I think it was in the end. Saints got them early last year. I think, when the Pies sort of didn't have much prep going into season 2024. But yeah, Colin will be fresh and ready to go. I'm happy to back the Pies in here, even though it is at Marvel where St Kilda can be dangerous at times. Over at NG Stadium, we've got GWS facing Gold Coast. The Giants had a pretty positive win over Brisbane at the Gabba, which they've done for the second year running. They can't win at home. They can't win in their home state, but they can go down and beat the best teams in the comp at their home deck. So I don't know how they do that. Gold Coast, I think they had the bye. They played the Cats, went down, and then went into the bye. Normally, that's when Gold Coast start fading away, but I'm going to go a little upset here. I'm going to go Gold Coast. Even though it's at the Giants' home deck, they haven't been super great at home outside of that Collingwood game. They might have had a few other decent wins, but yeah, just going to go Gold Coast. A little upset. I can't see too many upsets. The other upsets I'm leaning towards would be Sydney, Port Adelaide, and yeah, Brisbane clearly in with a bit of a shot. Much better than the 9% chance they've given here. They'll be right into up to their eyeballs. I can guarantee it. It will not be an easy game or an easy kill. If it is, though, I'll appreciate it. Final game of the round, we've got the 3:20 game on the Sunday. Western Bulldogs hosting Richmond. The Dogs, as mentioned, a comprehensive win over the Saints. 72 points in the end in their favour. And if we go to the Tigers, I think they had the bye as well because they played a really disappointing game against the Swans. That's right. They kicked 1 goal for pretty much second half, 4 goals, 12 is not going to get it done. Love what the Dogs are doing. They go into beast mode at Marvel, so I think, Darcy could have a really big day depending on who he's got. But I don't think too many defenders have got his measure. So Doggies pretty comfortably for mine. All right, let's have a look. So we've got Fremantle by 29 points, Geelong, Carlton, Port Adelaide, Collingwood, Gold Coast in a bit of an upset, and I have gone the Western Bulldogs. We've got the Crows, Hawks, the D's, and the Eagles sitting out this week with a bye. All right, that is all from me, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Interested to hear your picks for the week, so chuck that down in the comments below. Any upsets that you fancy, chuck them in as well. Give the video a like, subscribe away so you can see how I'm going each and every week and enjoy watching me in the middle part of the ladder in no man's land. That's always good fun to see. All right. Well, thank you heaps for joining in, watching in, tuning in. Have a good one, and I will catch you guys on the next video.